Everybody, welcome back. Welcome to our evening detox practice, a place to restore our bodies and let our minds come to rest with our bodies, hopefully. So it's a nice way to counter and contrast the vinyasa practice. There's a lot of ways that these two practices will contradict each other, and it may bring up certain questions. The thing about yoga is if you think there's a way, then it's probably not falling into that yogic space. It's just working, kind of through your mind like most things do, because there's really not a way. There's a way to kind of explore and navigate and find a meaning and understanding for yourself. But as far as how it's presented, it's really hard to say that there's a way outside of yourself, because yoga is everything that is going on inside of you. So we appreciate the contradiction, explore our bodies in different ways and sensations, and of course with our breath, sometimes activating our breath. In this case, during detox, letting our breath be mostly passive and natural throughout the entire practice. I'm going to start this evening with a 5-minute mindfulness meditation. You're welcome to join me. You basically just link a soft focus from your mind and to observe your breath, and sit still with your head above your heart and feel the sensation. Notice the thoughts when they come. And observing the breath in and out of your body will help ground you and ground your focus. It's a nice way to set ourselves up as we transition from whatever we were doing. Mindfulness meditation, you could do it in your car. You could do it, 5 minutes and sitting outside of an appointment before you go in. It's just a really nice way to ground and feel some clarity and some connection, through transition, which we find ourselves in quite often. Go ahead and close your eyes if you'd like to. And take a breath, feel the breath, watch the breath, observe the breath. And then notice how everything slows down and the body becomes still. You'll notice that it may not be necessarily the most comfortable thing to sit still. And so whatever sensations appear, just watch them. You'll be okay. It's only a matter of minutes. The mind has a way of framing itself and accepting that space, versus if I were to say we're going to meditate for 2 hours, your mind would do something different. When you have a nice practice and you can let go, I'll hold in the space and then call you back here. welcome to continue your meditation until we start detox. If and when you're ready to come out, sit up tall, take a breath, draw yourself back into your body. And feel the breath soften the chin, and then you can slowly bring your eyes back into the space. You re-emerging, connecting your eyes, but also in feeling that in relaxation or that calm in your body. If you are feeling it quite a bit in your body sensationally, then, coming out and could incorporate some gentle movements, or you can uncross your legs and then just watch that flow and come back into your limbs. And again, welcome everybody. Sunday evening and start of hopefully a beautiful new week. A lot of things happening, a lot of, transition and change. The endeavor of the mind contemplating what's on the horizon, what might we be getting ourselves into. And so we're here to practice and to remind ourselves where we are, to not get too far ahead of ourselves in our minds and our thoughts and our plans and our desires. And we continue this teaching from within to remind ourselves where we are, what we're feeling. And hopefully if we're learning through this process and what is being presented to us on a global scale, this is happening across our entire planet, especially our society and culture here in America, where, you got to get going, you got to pivot and think about how you're going to, figure out your next great success. Well, how about, our practice and whatever that means to you, whatever your meditation is, whatever your mindfulness practice looks like, but what if that becomes, a priority of every single day? As it's been because we've had more time, we've been home more, or we haven't had to commute even though we may be working from home. But what if it just becomes that is the priority every single day? Right? We utilize this practice and to support ourselves and to strike wisdom within ourselves and see how that goes. Try it for a month once your life starts moving again. But it's not probably going to feel that great if you've been practicing a bunch and then all of a sudden you just think you're busy and you have to do things again and you place your practice aside. That's probably the number one thing that we notice with students, is that it's very hard and to be consistent because of the things that we have to do. So our practice goes aside and then we toggle into it, right? We fight it, we come back to it, we leave it, we come back to it, and kind of like a yo-yo, right? That's most of it. So if you found some consistency, leverage it and let it just make sense. Other things are going to be there when you get done with your practice. No doubt, maybe we've lost some of this seriousness around what are we missing out on. Emily, good evening. Ira, good evening as well. Thanks for joining, you guys. Derek, hope you're well. So I know I've gotten some comments about being back in the garden, and I know it's so beautiful, and the sound and the breeze and the sun, it's all beautiful. It looks great on the live stream and all of that. But I did it last night again, and the the mosquitoes, they just absolutely love to be a part of the practice, and it is something on another plane to practice. I was talking with a yoga teacher friend, and you're guiding and you're practicing, and you've got these little guys gnawing on you the entire time. So I'm actually enjoying being in the studio, being in the containment of the space. All right, so if you're following along with music, we're going to be shifting. So I think the earbuds, I've heard that there's been several problems. I'll still stream it here for the next few days as I mention it, but the approach is just going to be that we start our Spotify together. So I think that'll be a little bit more reliable and versus some of the problems that I've heard about earbuds. Brian Boone, AJ, welcome you guys. So I will start, and you can start as well on Spotify. Once you get your music set, how's the mic doing tonight? Anybody real quick that can give me a little feedback on the live chat? Does the mic sound okay, or am I crackling and cutting in or cutting out? That would be helpful before we get into the practice, because we all know that, I think I've fallen asleep several times during these poses. Good, I got one. It's okay on the mic, so I hope it's okay for everybody. Let's start lying down on our backs tonight and coming into Shavasana, please. Oh, good, Derek. Thank you. All right. Open up the legs, open up the arms. Those of you that took that flow this morning, I was teaching it and it caught me by surprise. So if you were caught by surprise, I mean, that's how it goes, the flow. It's here for us to receive if we tap into it. Tapping into it in a flow class means connecting to your breath. Tapping into it in a detox class means let your breath be natural. And your focus becomes stillness versus movement. Remember earlier I was talking about how this practice will contradict so much of what you do in your flow practice in a healthy way. We need the contradiction. We need people in our lives and that will listen and then also tell us, when we're off our rocker. It's important. Not just people that agree with us all the time. And so let's go ahead and soften and settle here. Start with the muscles on your face and then move down your torso until you get to the tips of your toes. As your body gets heavy, feel your breath slowing. It's like a balloon belly. As the waves of air come in, fill your lungs and empty your lungs. You guys know I always talk about a stack, so having a yoga block. If you don't have one, having a blanket or a pillow, something firm enough that you can support your body. And so you're welcome if you need to step off and grab that. Just go slow out of this transition from Shavasana, but we're going to bend the legs and come into a supported bridge pose, which just means feet flat, press down into the ground to lift your bum up, and then slide your stack on any height and to get your hips up higher than your heart. You may need to reset your shoulders and your head. So pelvis is higher than the heart. If you feel this quite a bit, and you never know, it's the beauty, you never know what you're feeling until you actually get into the position. So it's drawing us into the moment. Our mind is allowed and to actually interpret the moment, and versus getting lost in the past or projecting into the future. If you're okay and good to go a little bit further, and let your legs go back out straight. And we create a little TP, so it's going to spread the belly. You say TP or tent like the pole that is right up through the center of the tent, and so there is the peak at the top. And make any mindful adjustments. Fidgeting and moving out of the posture is not a mindful adjustment. Mindful adjustments set you up so that you can soften and then practice stillness once you're there. And relax the arms, close the eyes. You notice the tips of your toes, tops of your feet, front of your thighs, underneath your belly, through your heart center, back through the neck, and then grounded through the back of your head. In case you're wondering if there's no block available, there's no pillows or blankets, you just sit on the back of your hands, and that'll give you a mini dose of what we're doing, but it'll do something. Life is pretty amazing. It's pretty spectacular. The things and the places and that your eyes have seen. The greatness, but also the challenges, the moments of darkness. Only furthering the degree in when you set and you still, and to explore and to retrieve the wisdom. Those of you that have had the gnarliest shit happen to you in your lives, you have the greatest gift and to retrieve the wisdom. And perhaps that seems like a better approach than just sitting with the horror of the stories of the past. The past is the past, and hence why we practice mindfully to exist in the moment and feel who you are tonight, not who you were 3 years ago. Through this, we may have gotten some things moving around the belly. So don't be surprised if your belly is gurgling. And go slow, begin to bend one leg. And then you can bend both legs so that your feet are flat. Observe, take a beat. Feel your feet, and when you're ready, lift your hips an inch. And slide your stack out, yoga block or your pillow or your blanket. Or it could have been your hands, and then go ahead and lower and roll your low back down into the ground as you lower your hips. And feel some softness and space through your hip flexors. And you may notice that a deeper breath just hit you in your chest. And you can scoot your hips over to the left side of your mat. You roll over onto your right hip, pause there in the fetal position. And so your knees can curl up nice and tight into your chest. And let your head rest into your right arm. When you truly begin to understand the expansion of time through practice, rather than seeking or wanting, your class to go by fast. And when you expand time, we want to explore the additional benefits of, class feeling much longer, and then how it's defined by time. Let's reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then hook your left arm behind your back. And so you're turning the hand up as you draw the forearm across. And then once you get your arm hooked, and start to roll onto your back, and so that your left forearm is underneath your back body. You're going to roll your hips so that they're flat onto the mat. And keep the arm tucked underneath. That's going to create an arch somewhere down through the lower third of your spine. And then bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees fall apart so your lower body is in butterfly pose. Left arm tucked behind your back. And your right arm, you can place it wherever it feels comfortable. And close the eyes and let stillness do its thing. yourself back to this breath. Start to bring your knees back up towards each other. You lean to your right just enough to slide your left arm out. And let's go ahead and bring our arms down by the sides. And your legs can extend. Feel the rebound in Shavasana. Any tingling, watch those sensations. And feel the lightness of your natural breath and the heaviness of your body. Great rebound. Take your arms over your head. Give yourself a big morning stretch in the evening. And bend your legs and let's roll on to our left side in the fetal position. And tuck your knees up into your chest. Let the head rest into your arm. And it's like we're exposing a roll of film and to discover what we're feeling in our bodies, in this case, in our shoulders and our chest. And we don't need to carry that resistance around with us. We don't have to carry the stories around with us. And when they appear, we can watch them, we can observe them, we can take a breath with them, we can do all those things. But we can also be much lighter as we move with our bodies and our minds. Take your right arm up towards the ceiling. Turn your thumb in, hook your right forearm behind your back. As you get the back of the hand hooked, now start to roll onto your back. So your right forearm is going to be creating some extension through your low spine. Hips are on the floor. Mindfully adjust as you get it set up. Don't be surprised if you're right-handed and this side feels tighter than the left side. It's your dominant ways. Soles of your feet together and then let your knees fall apart. As heavy as you can be, let go of as much muscle as possible. Another beautiful contradiction, let go of your muscles. And people actually find it quite difficult to disengage, to insert a pause, and to not have to have the last word of an argument, and to surrender. It's a floaty practice tonight, and so bring yourself back to your body. Start to turn your knees back up. You're going to roll to the left just enough to slide your right arm out. And then your hips back to center. Arms can release down. And palms up and let the legs go straight. And catch the rebound in your Shavasana, please. And watch a few breaths, see where they touch your body, and then your mind will gravitate towards that part of your body. So you'll notice there's a lot more time in the space of detox and to feel into parts of your body that typically maybe you just glance by. You know that you felt something, but you're already on to the next thing. Here you get to really sit and see it from a few more angles. And wherever you went, bring yourself back to your body. Take your arms over your head. Give yourself another big morning stretch in the evening. And say it's like eating breakfast for dinner, everybody. So good. And if you haven't yet eaten breakfast for dinner in quarantine, then you have something new to do. Bend your legs. Let's roll ourselves all the way around. And make our way into a child's pose, please. With your knees mat width apart. Or somewhere in that vicinity. Settle your hips to your heels. And let's take the shoulders out of it. So turn your elbows out. And stack one palm on top of the other. And then soften your forehead, your third eye center, onto your top hand. If you're not sure, just take a look at the video and you'll see the position of the arms. And so that we're taking it out of the shoulders, settling into a neutral shoulder situation. As your forehead is set, rock it a couple times side to side. Release the furrowed brow. And then you can let your forehead come back to soften and center. And we'll be here for a little while. Stay in your child's pose. Take 3 breaths and let the exhales come out of your mouth. At the end of your next exhale, hover your forehead just off your top hand. And eyes soft and remain closed. And feel that in your forehead, your third eye center. And then you can gently blink your eyes back open into the space. Feel any achiness in your hips, in your back as you crawl up onto your hands. And put some more weight into your hands, less down into your knees. You can keep your head heavy. Might feel nice to sigh out and exhale. If you need a little bit more space out in front of you on your mat, crawl your knees back a bit. You're going to let the tailbone lift and hips stay over top of the knees. And then start to slide your arms out in front. If your shoulders are pretty tight, take your hands wider. And you can come down onto your forehead. Again, shoulders tight, take your hands wider. That should help if your shoulders are pretty open. And along with your hips and your spine, then you can bring your hands closer together. And then eventually, from your forehead, you would make your way to your chest and let your chin settle on the mat. Eventually, you don't have to go there right away. It's called puppy pose. We've got everything we need right here. And to exist with that wisdom inside. And so when the stories rise, they will lift, they will appear from the depths of your body. All you have to do is observe them, take a breath with them. You realize that you are not that story of the past. You are this version himself, one being who's willingly participating in a mindfulness practice, meditation and yoga on a Sunday evening amidst a global pandemic, and that which has affected and impacted every single human being on this planet. Don't try to change it, but notice in the puppy pose if you're a, cute puppy dog with pouty eyes, or if you're a dog that is snarling and growling in this position tonight. Don't try to change it, just notice, what kind of puppy you are right now. And sit with the sensations. Little draw to your belly. From your chin, come back to your forehead. Slide your elbows back inch by inch. And certainly you're going to feel this coming out of the deep flexion of your shoulders. No rush. You'll get lighter when your elbows are under your shoulders, and then you can make your way up onto your hands in a tabletop. And pause here in a neutral spine, so neither extending nor flexing the spine. And shift the knees in so they're a little bit closer towards each other. And then once you're all the way back, we can lie all the way down onto the belly. So your legs are straight. Take your arms out into a T. And turn your right cheek, the right side of your head, into the mat. And feel this beautiful release in the ground tonight. If you're holding on to any weight in the back of your jaw, let it connect to the ground, feel it, and then watch it release. And close your eyes and see if you can vision giving Mother Earth the biggest hug. You've got your arms wrapped around she. And all we got to do to set it up is turn your left cheek onto the mat. Slide your right hand in beside your chest. So your right arm is bent, right hand by your chest. Left arm is still in that T. And then we just roll, right, and twisting the pelvis. Just step your right foot behind your left leg. Use your right hand on the ground to balance, not necessarily to push yourself into it. And get your right foot set. And it's going to create an opening in the left side of your chest, compressing the back of the shoulder, the blade, and towards the arm. No grip in the legs, no grip in the face. And start to resolve in stillness. You may find that there is a profound respect for stillness once you start practicing it. Easier said than done. No matter how long you've been practicing, easier said and then done. these moments and sometimes the challenging situations in our lives, they may not have woken us up in that time, depends on if and where you were with your practice, but they can still wake you up now, should they appear. You don't have to force it. You don't have to go down the road and actively think about it. If they appear, coming up from your body, you may wake up from it right now. And take a few deep breaths, and you'll notice the breath meeting wherever the most intense part of the sensation lies in your body right now. And breath has a beautiful way of finding the intensity to the sensation. And now in slow motion, begin to roll your hips back. And let's feel the release as we come back towards, actually on the belly. And take your right arm out into a T. And bring your left arm and slide it all the way down your side. And like you're putting your left hand into your front pocket. And let your right cheek come back down onto the ground, please. Soften the left elbow into the mat. Beauty, feel the space. Bring your left hand next to your chest. Your right arm is still out into that T. And then we're going to start to twist the pelvis, coming onto the outer right hip. And step your left foot behind your right leg. And feel the opening into the right side of your chest, front of your shoulder. And let your head rest. It's a tricky one to really find and meet the teacher of stillness. There's a lot going on. There always is, though. So let's say we can allow a lot to be going on at the same time. Rest in the nothingness. Remember, those things, they're still going to be there when you're done practicing. What's going to shift and evolve, grow, and change is everything from the inside out. And maybe, just maybe, one of you, maybe five of you, maybe 10 of you, you actually feel the natural adjustment. And from these practices going forward, where it's uncompromised, it's not even a question. It's like brushing your teeth when you wake up in the morning. Space for your practice, no matter what. And you can utilize this, and it'll come back to you when you're in your flow practices, but take a few deep breaths and watch the breath find the sensation and where it's most intense. And when you feel it, that means your mind is there. And when your mind is there, your mind is with your body and has less tendency to be going other places that the mind can go. The way the mind that can take you away from the peacefulness of the moment. The moment is so peaceful. And take it in slow motion as you begin to roll back onto your belly. Everything that is hanging out through your right arm. And once you get set, bring your right hand down by your side like you're putting it in your front pocket. Turn your left cheek onto the mat. And go ahead and feel the rebound here. With as little muscular engagement as possible, bring your right hand underneath your shoulder. And use your left hand, start to press yourself up to all fours. And crawl your knees forward a little bit and then swing your legs around in front. Place yourself onto your bum. And we're going to set up, this should feel good, in a half rabbit pose once you're seated. Feet are flat. Arms go behind your legs. And then reach across for opposite shins. So the fingertips curl over the front of the shins. And walk your feet in a little bit closer to your hips, and so that the feet can be flat. You soften your belly, and then you're just going to start to lean back. Let your chin fall down to your chest. And this is going to open up all the space behind your heart, underneath your shoulder blades. And relax your forehead and the third eye center. And relax the tongue and the energy in the mouth. And feel your ears wide open, listening versus contemplating, listening. And the sound of your breath and sensations. Feeling this deep release through your spine. And with your eyes closed, begin to roll up one vertebra at a time. And you can even hear it. There's a deeper tone in my voice, and there's a definite effect to this practice. Release your shins. And let your legs go straight. And scoot your bum forward if you need to. And you should be able to fall into a whole lot of lightness as you gently make your way down onto your back. Practice, you gave she, Mother Earth, a big hug. Now let her wrap herself around you. As you fall in, feels like you're falling into the earth. Close your eyes and be here. course, are welcome to continue your meditation lying down. Stay in your Shavasana for as long as it feels good. And if we didn't wake up then, we have the opportunity to wake up now. And if we didn't wake up now, then we have the curiosity coming to our mat again and possibly waking up then. Be open, be patient. This beautiful life, such a journey. And all we can do is bow to it. Its highs and its lows, its twists and its turns. And realize that we're truly here to be of service to each other. And thank you all so much for being on your mat tonight. And can't wait to see you all soon. And have a beautiful sleep, a beautiful day. And I'll see you in the morning for flow. Namaste.